Hey, yo, you ready, Keys?
Let's get it.
Get on your feet, Tiger fans. Let's get loud. Let's go. Let's get active. Let's go.
Yo, 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 yo. It's your boy, Be Easy.
It's your boy V Keys. This is the You
You
Played
Played
Though
Though
podcast.
Keys, man, we back for another week, man.
We're back for another week, another dub in the books. We're gonna talk about it, man. We had another good Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great college football Saturday too. One of the biggest ones of the year
oh,
thus far.
oh, my goodness, man. There was so many good games for us to tune into. So many high-stakes games. Shook up the top 25 real quick. Some of the teams who've been performing well got some notoriety, too, man. They made their way in there, Keys.
Yeah, there were several games with huge playoff implications across the nation, and definitely the SEC. And we're gonna get all up into that. And of course, we're gonna get into them Tigers with a dub
Oh,
again.
Definitely another dub for
Okay.
the Tigers, man, and ring of honor, man. CJ, man, he made it in there.
Yes, sir. CJ Spiller, and we will talk about in great length the man, the myth, the legend. CJ Spiller was inducted to the Clemson Ring of Honor. Has his name, number 28, forever enshrined in Death Valley.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So big ups, man. Hats off to CJ Spiller, man.
Jeez, man, how hyped would you be if we got CJ on the pod, man?
We getting him.
We getting him.
It's not a matter of if, it's when. So, CJ, we shouting you out, bro. We want to get you on the pod. You played though pod.
Mm-hmm.
Want to have you on, man.
Yeah, man.
We look forward to that.
Yeah, definitely got a chance to dap you up in that Wake Forest dub. We went down there in Winston-Salem, man, so it was great
Yes, sir.
seeing you out there too, man. But, man, Keys, let's go ahead and get into it, man. It's college football week. So one of the teams that looks like we're on a crash course to meet in the ACC championship, if things continue in the same trajectory, the Miami Hurricanes against a team that we gotta play here after this bye week, the Louisville Cardinals, man, and it was a tight game.
Yeah, 52-45 was the final, and points abound. Miami, they just keep rolling offensively, man. It's just every time you look up, it's 500 yards, it's 50 points. But on the flip side, the defense, and they did also give up a kick return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
So that defense is still they've been giving up last 3 games about 40,
Yep.
almost 40 a game basically. So they have some showing up doing that side, but Cam Ward is showing why right now he's
in
probably the leader
Yeah.
in the Heisman talks.
Well, I will say this now. A lot of people been talking about it, and I'm gonna just put my 2 cents in there. They've had some favoritism with the ref calls, man.
Yeah.
That callback touchdown was big. But hey, man, at the end of the day, what they say, one play doesn't win or lose you the game. They continue to be undefeated, 7-0. So we'll see how that shakes out, man. But Louisville is a better team than what their record shows.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they're sitting at 4-3 right now. They fell out the rankings a couple weeks ago. And you mentioned it. That's what we have coming off the bye week. Our second bye week. We have an open date. So November 2nd, we do have Louisville. So it's a team that can definitely put up some points.
Yep.
So we should definitely be wary of that.
Yep. And coming off this loss, man, they're gonna be hyped for this game. But Keys, let's talk about this game, Alabama versus Tennessee. It was a good game for a long time. Very defensively minded game. Scoreless in the first quarter, but Alabama took another L, man, to a team in Tennessee.
Another one.
Another.
Another one, man. So that shout out to the Tennessee fans, man. So 3rd October and Saturday. Third Saturday in October is what they call this Bama Tennessee rivalry. Josh Heupel got him another one against Bama. So something interesting Nick Saban said on game day was that his players, they were more hyped for the Tennessee rivalry than the Auburn game, and I thought that was kind of interesting because he's like, man, they get. I don't even got to tell them that for the Tennessee game, but sometimes you got to get them riled up for the Auburn game. The Auburn series, a little one-sided,
Yeah.
for several years, but Auburn had some good years here and there, but
Those Cam Newton.
But,
Newton years,
yeah, Tennessee, man. The game started off slowly, first half and it started picking up. Had some fireworks in third quarter, so Tennessee pulled it out 24-17. So are they looking playoff contenders to you?
They're looking playoff contenders. They look. I'll tell you this, man. We're gonna get to it, man. They look better than another team that wear similar colors. But we're gonna get to that.
Okay.
All right, Key. So matter of fact, let's go ahead and jump into it, man. Georgia Bulldogs versus the Texas Longhorns. This was supposed to be the game of the year. We went down there, hollered at the agent, man. We had our food. We was ready, and man, I think everybody was falling asleep on this one.
What is it? Knocked out. I mean, this was game day. Georgia at Texas, arguably the biggest game in Texas Stadium history. They was calling it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, Georgia, they called the dogs early and often. Man, it was what 23-0 at half.
Yeah.
Texas, Quinn Ewers just couldn't get anything going. They put in Arch Manning for a drive. I mean, he's a little bit more athletic, but he still couldn't provide a spark. It was just Georgia night.
Yeah.
ETN had the game. He had 2 touchdowns. So Georgia with the emphatic
W.
win over number one Texas.
So do you feel like Texas? Got exposed a little bit because that offensive line looked like tissue paper, man.
Yeah, they did. I think that offensive line did get exposed. Maybe Quinn got exposed a little bit to, he's not as good of an athlete.
Yeah.
And we did say during the game, like, they haven't really played, they haven't played tough competition yet. So they've had like the UL Monroes and,
Michigan.
schools of that nature. I mean, the Michigan, and we see they just lost to Illinois 21-7. So Michigan is a dumpster fire. But I was shocked at the outcome. I did have Texas favorite, but and even looking at on the other side, looking at Carson Beck, he didn't play spectacularly.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
wasn't.
He had 2
wasn't
picks
impressive.
early.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't. The defense won that game and the running game. Like this is an old school Georgia win right here. So,
all right, Keys. Well, so that one's a little bit of a letdown. Let's talk about these Gamecocks, man. We got them at the end of the year. Clemson, that's the last game on the schedule, and they have continued to look good. Some of the big games they weren't able to win, but our old ball coach Britt Venables down there in Oklahoma, man, it's bad out there.
man, how bad is Oklahoma though to
God.
lose 35-9 at the crib
Man.
to them
And I tell
to
you,
the Gamecocks?
I tell you what, it was a field goal fest. It was a field goal fest for Oklahoma, but man, the score is not indicative of how bad this game was, man.
It was a turnover fest, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Talking about the field goal, it was a turnover fest. USC had 2 back-to-back defensive touchdowns in the game, so that blew it open off gate. So that was just no turning back. So that's a huge win though.
Yeah.
For that program on the road.
That's it, man. Oklahoma's got a lot of work to do. They're 4-3, but it's a long season, so we'll see. They got a lot to turn around, but
They done got welcome to the SEC like pretty handily, like and
most definitely. So a bounce back game for Colorado, man. They played Arizona. Shiloh had a pretty decent game. Very good defensive performance by the Colorado Buffaloes, man. They won 34-7.
yeah, kind of surprising. 34-7. You don't think a Colorado team can hold anybody to 1 touchdown?
Yeah.
So shout out to Colorado and Sador and the boys. They're rolling at 5-2. So we see if they might can sneak into the rankings next week. If they get another dub and get to 6-2, they have some consideration to get in the top 20ish possibly.
Yeah. Especially if you got Alabama out there 5-2, man. We'll see if they can
Right.
see if these other conferences can get some love out here. So the lowly Florida State Seminoles, man, the ACC champions of last year, played the Duke Blue Devils, who are a decent team. They had 1 loss, but man, they got worked again, man. What is going down there in Tallahassee?
The fighting DJUs, boy.
Man.
Them boys is 1-6, 23-16 to Duke, which has never beaten. Let me repeat that. Duke has never beaten Florida State in the game of football. We're not talking basketball. We're not talking Coach K and them. No, we're talking the game of football on the gridiron. The Duke Blue Devils have never beaten Florida State. They changed that.
Yeah.
They changed that.
Mike Norvell, man, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for him, man. If he gets another year, if he can't turn it around, I think he's up out of there, man.
I mean, I know we say a hot seat, but I know them cheeks burning.
Got to be, man. I swear, he look. I be feeling bad for him on the sideline, man. He look like he be wanting to cry, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take a picture and put that up, man. It might be,
Boy.
he might be on the thumbnail this week, man.
Man, but hey, keep it in the ACC, man. What we got, man? What did the people come for, man?
Hey, man, the people came to hear about them Clemson Tigers, man. Played the Virginia Cavaliers. We had our old ball coach come back to get some work, man. So Clemson, the score is not really indicative of how the game actually turned out, but Clemson Tigers won 48-31. And really in convincing fashion. That third quarter, we really opened it up.
Yeah.
And, kind of caught the dogs off late there in the fourth. So this is the third game of 500-plus all-purpose yards. So, the
Fourth.
offense is humming.
Fourth one. It's our fourth.
Our fourth game, but
Yeah.
third straight, yeah.
Because so we win. Clemson wins 48-31. We were a little disappointed in the ending. Let Virginia score 21 points in the fourth quarter, and I mean they were the easiest points you gonna see too. I mean guys wide open.
Just real quick.
That's obviously some coaching opportunities for the young guys, the backups. But you never like to see easy scores given up. You never like to see that anyway. But Dabo took the starters out, then he put them back in, and then. He's like, nah, we got to score. We got to keep this. Let's keep the spread. So we just missed the spread. We was favored by 21. I was a little disappointed in that. I ain't gonna lie. So
yeah, I mean, things were looking good. It was good that we put the stars back in. We went right down there and scored. But at the same time, you want to give, and I do appreciate the way Dabo puts in, the backups. We want to get that experience. You might have some players that are next up, right? And you never know injuries and things like that. So having that real game experience is always beneficial. But at the end of the day, man, you don't want to put bad tape out there, man. So
yeah.
we got some opportunities. To get better.
And at this point in the season, like we're talking about, style points do matter. When we're kind of like bunched up between number 10, number 9, that little bunch right there. Whoever wins, in more convincing fashion, whoever looks better is going to have the better chance to kind of inch up. You know what I mean?
So you think, as much as I talk about the fact that the ACC doesn't get a whole lot of respect, the way that Coach Sweeney has always given the backups the second string. I know these guys practice hard, right? Giving them opportunity to play. Do you feel like that has hurt us in the last couple of weeks where we haven't moved and we have moved but only one spot this week?
Possibly so, because clearly our first team has been dominant on both sides of the ball. Giving up some yardage, and like I said, definitely in the second half we did. But like you mentioned, this is actually, and we have talked about how historic this Clemson offense has been. So this is the third time in program history that we've had 40 points in 5 of our first 7 games, and the fourth 500-yard game in the first 6-7 games. So first time since 2019 and 2020. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, T. Higgins. So in 19 T. Higgins, but yeah. So we're moving at a good pace. But this, I will say, Cade it was kind of like a funky game. He threw a terrible pick.
Terrible pick that they scored right on. We went down 7-3.
Terrible pick.
Yeah,
but he cleaned it up. So like the old Cade of last year, if he make one mistake, he gonna make another one.
Yeah.
So that's where we see the growth. Made a bad play, didn't let it linger, and then from there he came out to throw 3 touchdowns after that. So
yeah. When he's humming, he's humming. But I think sometimes when, like you said, sometimes he might be trying a couple of things. And you're looking at the competition. We're not expecting to lose to Virginia based on the talent that we have, and I know that Tony Elliott is still building that program. But one thing that I do want to highlight where I think we can improve on is just containing the quarterback. We got some decent pressure this previous game, but the quarterback kind of got out of containment a couple of times and ran for some pretty decent yardage. But last week Um, you spoke on Keith Adams Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just being kind of one of those players that doesn't get enough shine. Who do you think this week, um, needs a little bit of recognition? I got one in mind
Talking about for this past game.
for this past game. Yeah.
Uh, let me see. Let me see who kind of stood out. Austin Pat Henry.
Okay. Yeah. That's where
Yeah.
that's where I was going. Yeah.
So 2 touchdowns,
Hmm.
2 touchdown game for our, number 2 tight end, and he was looking like a grown man out there too.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of feeling his swag a little bit, man. He
Yeah.
plays with a little bit of swagger. So.
Yeah. So shout out to Austin Pat Henry.
Hmm.
But I do want to touch on, like you said, we did get some pressure on the defense.
Hmm.
But I will say this, man. Like this tackling has been horrendous at times. Like we're not wrapping up. We're letting guys. It was a couple times we had a sack. He squealed out some kind of way. The tackling has been. This is one of the worst kind of tackling teams I've seen, and I can't even name the win because it's been shoddy. We need to be more physical. We need to get to the boys and be physical, man. So, but yeah, man. Did you have another standout other than Austin?
So I did like what I saw, man. There's a couple of them, but I like what I'm continuing to see out of Troy Stellato, man.
Okay.
I see
Yep.
several instances where he's just been getting separation, getting open, and he's catching the ball, man. Um, Cole, yeah, I can say same thing can be said about Cole, but I think Troy, he needs a little bit of shine, man. Troy's out here balling.
Yeah, and shout out to our pseudo wide receiver number 1, Antonio Williams. Well, excuse me, pseudo QB number 1, because
Okay,
he had
I was gonna
another.
say TJ.
Yeah,
TJ
yeah,
had
yeah.
something to say about that.
He had another trick play, if you will. I mean, when I tell you he threw that ball up for grabs, though,
Yeah.
just allowed. I'm like, boy, that thing ain't gonna get there, Antonio. Hey, this might be
Yeah.
your last pass of the season, bro.
Yeah.
So, you got to put like a little bit less air on that thing, and you know what I mean. So, because he has to let I think Dabo was like, man, he could have fair caught that thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
But and then he took a handoff a la Sammy Watkins ish,
Mm-hmm.
a little jet sweep handoff touchdown.
And those type of plays just shows how much confidence the team has in him, man. They're looking at him like an all-purpose type player, and I think with Tyler Brown kind of not in the lineup right now, he's assuming that responsibility. So, hopefully we'll get Tyler back here in this next game. Just kind of get him out there and let him stretch his legs a little bit, but.
Yeah, and it was a good game considering we're out Westco without Westco again. Still healing up on the ankle, and Tyler Brown. So I mean, he hasn't played since Georgia game. So if we can get both of them back healthy, that's gonna only bolster the wide receiver room, more options. I mean, now it's like who gonna get the touches? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Westco's averaging 30 yards a catch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I hate to say it like this, Keith, because we've been a strong defensive team for so long. The way that this offense is humming, I mean, if the defense don't look out, man, they're gonna be looked at as an afterthought out here, man.
And then we didn't even talk about the rushing game. I mean, Maffa did his thing again, 2 touchdowns, and we were just 6 yards shy of 200.
Yeah.
6 yards shy of our consecutive 300 passing, 200 rushing yard game. But shout out to King Maffa, who did some dirty work on the ground again. But yeah, this open date, another one that we have, which is extremely rare to have 2 open dates in the college football season. But like I said, hopefully we can get some guys all back.
Some rest, yeah.
Yeah, look at the tape, go clean up, and Louisville will probably be easily our most challenging offensive team that we'll face so far this season.
Yeah.
So
Looking at the remainder of the schedule, I think Louisville and definitely South Carolina are some teams that's going to challenge us pretty well.
and Pitt's ranked too, though.
Oh yeah.
Pitt, I think, is number 19, I believe. So we got to go to Pitt.
Mm-hmm.
So that may be a challenging game. Virginia Tech, they put up some points. They blew out BC in Blacksburg last Thursday night. So that could be a challenge on the road. So we got to be on the P's and Q's, man. This defense got to stay intact.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. But yeah, definitely excited. Enjoyed that game, and looking forward to Louisville. We might make an appearance out there. We'll see. All right, Skis, man. Let's get into these games this week, man. We got another week of college football. Clemson is off this week, but we got some games we're gonna check out, man. So first off, Ole Miss is playing Oklahoma. Oklahoma has been looking poor at best. Ole Miss is 1-2 in the SEC though, so this is gonna be an important game for them. They're favored by 21.
That can get ugly.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna keep it right there.
see, there's not much story here. Huh?
Nope.
All right. So this one could get interesting. We got Missouri playing Alabama in Tuscaloosa, man.
Yeah, and Bama is. I think that's strong. 13.5 is kind of strong right now. And
yeah.
Missouri is number 21. Even though they almost lost to Vandy earlier. Bama did lose to Vandy, but they got the doors blown off of them by Texas A&M a couple weeks ago. But Missouri can come in there. It's a 3:30 game. They can come in there and get that dub, though. I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
The way Bama's been looking these last stretch of weeks.
Yeah, man. They just can't get it together, man. There's too many teams where they've either played close or just flat out lost. So we'll see. I think that's gonna be one that's gonna definitely be tuned into. Man, I don't even know what to say about this one, Keys. Both these teams are playing kind of weird, but I'm not expecting much out of Florida State. Florida State's 1-6. They were going down to Miami to play the undefeated Hurricanes.
I mean, I don't know. I know you know, but for the listeners, if y'all not familiar with Bubba Sparks, this is gonna be the theme song. Yeah. It's getting ugly, ugly, ugly. It's gonna get ugly down there.
Yeah,
it's gonna get ugly, bro.
Man,
Ooh.
Hey, somebody said send a prayer out there, man. PAT, man. Hopefully your team. I don't know. Ain't gonna be no bowl this season, bro. It's looking like next year out here.
They favored by 21.5, and that's sorely low. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's. I mean, I can easily see a 54-10.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. And 10, I think is a little generous. All right, so you got LSU against Texas A&M down there at College Station, and looks like the odds makers think this is gonna be a close game, man. 3 points.
This is probably gonna be where game day is. Number 8 LSU, number 14 A&M. They be having that stadium rocking, one of the biggest stadiums in college football. It's a night game. So this is gonna be a good one, man, because Texas A&M has been they've been kind of rolling these last several weeks here. So
yeah,
this would be a good one to watch, man. So I'll be tuned into this one.
Yep, both undefeated in the SEC, so it's gonna have some implications here.
Yep.
So you got SMU, who's undefeated in the ACC, and they're playing Duke, who just came off of dub to Florida State. SMU is favored by 11.5.
They're number 22, man. Don't sleep on the what they Mustangs.
Yeah.
On the SMU Mustangs, man, they looking kind of good out here right now. So ranked at number 22. So we'll see if Duke can continue that momentum, and this will be a good conference game, though, I believe.
Yeah. Okay, so another game that we're gonna look at. It's a late game on ESPN down there in Boulder. Colorado is coming off a win against Arizona. They're playing Cincinnati. Cincinnati's 5-2.
Yeah. Okay. Buffaloes versus Bearcats. So I'm taking Colorado at the crib night game.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they're playing with a sense of urgency, based off of just how people are talking. But so Keys, man, yesterday I posted kind of a couple of feelings I had about this top 25 and who's where. But we got some newcomers into the top 25, man. You got an undefeated Navy. You got Vanderbilt. They made their way in. But how do you feel about what you're seeing here in this top 25, man?
Well, I'll start from the bottom first. So Vanderbilt 25, Navy 24, Army 23. That alone is like, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen that, ever. And this is the first time I think they said in 60 years that Army and Navy have been, 6-0?
Yeah.
Piece.
I think one is 7-0 and the other 6-0. I think Army 6-0. Yeah.
Just to see Army and Navy ranked, and Vanderbilt, like that's what's the world coming to kind of thing. You know what I mean? I look at the next slate, 20-16. No surprises there. Ole Miss 18 is probably maybe like the best team in there. Boise State, your boys looking like a monster out here at running back. Ashton Genty.
They think he's gonna be Heisman, man.
Yeah, I mean he's putting up 200 plus a game. It's just like snapping his fingers. 15-11. Bama's at 15. I mean that's fairer than last week, but I still, I think they could switch with. I wouldn't be mad if they were 17,
Yeah,
or 18.
I wouldn't be mad if they're 17, but yeah, I think they need to be in between that 16 to 20 at best, right?
Yeah.
Because you got undefeated Army and Navy, and I get it. You said they haven't played the same competition, but Vandy beat Alabama, and they only dropped to 7. To me, that was
Yeah.
anybody else was dropping way farther than that, right? Keeping them in the top 10 is crazy, but you kept them there. They lost again. You put them at 15. Okay.
A&M at 14. Notre Dame, I'm still, not sold on Notre Dame. BYU, not sure who they played, but that's your 15 through 11.
Yeah.
So your 10 through 6, that's where it gets interesting. So Iowa State, they survived an upset, a real close call. So they dropped the number 10. They were number 9. We were 10, so we flip-flop. So the Tigers are here at 9. The other Tigers are LSU. They're at 8. The Volunteers moved back up to 7 after the ranked win against Bama. And Miami 6. So how you feel about that?
I'm okay with it, to be honest. Yeah, I got no problem. I got no problem with that. I still think that Miami is going to be tested here, the way that they're playing, but I got no problem with them being number 6.
Okay, then that top 5. So Texas, they dropped to 5. Is that fair?
They dropped to 5. I think that's fair, but I think they're a lot weaker than what we're giving them, right? Because they've only played really Michigan, and they played.
And that don't count no more.
It don't count, man. It's ugly, and the way Georgia handled them, the score is not indicative of how bad that game was.
I mean, Georgia actually, even though we got blown out in the second half, they played more dominantly against Texas, even though we didn't score. At least Texas scored a little bit, but the way the game went, it felt like Georgia was just dominant from the get-go.
Yeah, they had the control of that game.
So Ohio State 4, Penn State 3. They'll play in November, Penn State and Ohio State. So I'm already gonna take Ohio State in that game, depending on where it's at though.
Yeah,
I might give Penn State a little bit of a shot. They might have some swag about them this year.
Yeah, they've always been a little brother, man. So,
Yeah.
so it's kind of hard. So looking at Oregon's undefeated. Do you believe in them?
No. Not fully yet,
Yeah.
and Georgia only has 2 first place votes at number 2. I think they need more than that, because they have. Okay, I get it. So Oregon and Ohio State played. It was 2 and 3, but Georgia went into number 1 and just blew the doors off of them. And they were number 5. So
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with them being number 2. They probably need a little bit more first place votes to me. But we'll see who else Oregon gets tested by. That was a great game. Ohio State, they just ran out of time.
Yeah.
Or they possibly could have kicked the game with a field goal. But
Yeah.
we'll see, man. Like, so we, the first playoff rankings, we got 2 weeks. No, is it next Tuesday? Is it the 2nd?
Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks. So
Okay, 2 weeks.
yeah.
Yeah, so
I'll tell you this though. I know a lot of people may not be talking about this, but if Ohio State does not win the Big Ten, I think Ryan Day's out of there, man. I think he's out.
that's a bold call because you got to look, who's their main rival? Michigan, right? Trash. So
Trash.
definitely, if you lose to Michigan this year, he gone.
Yeah.
Like the way how bad Michigan looking. So that's a little story to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're paying him some good money down there, man. All right, so top 25. We'll see how this week shakes out. Clemson does not have a game this week, but we'll see if that changes. If any of that changes based on the play this week. But
If somebody around us lose, maybe we can jump up in the bye week. Maybe we can go up to 8. You know what? I like how Clemson slept on Saturday. I like how them boys slept in and watched football. I'm gonna move them up to number 7.
yeah, they looking they looking like they need to move up, man. Yeah, man. So, y'all can catch us at all the links below. We're gonna put all our socials out there. 7:30 the game, man. Shout out to 7:30 the game. Head over to the ESPN Charlotte.com. Search Uplayedtho in the search box. All of our podcasts will show up, man, and give us a listen.
Yeah, like I said, we Uplayedtho on all platforms. It's right here on the screen. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Go subscribe to the YouTube. We got plenty more content coming your way. Go Tigers. Let's get it.
And with that being said,
We out.
we out.